Wow, thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome. You're over to you, Crow.
Oh, you stopped me right in the flow there, sis.
Wow.
All right, so let me warm myself back up. You know, it takes me about an hour to get going and shut me down. Um, what we wanted, we had a Robyn and I take lunch because we're very sophisticated people. It's usually at the beach, but we were talking about what's happening now, and one of the things that we have to be aware of is that we're going to get thrown back into society here in about a week and a half. Okay, what am I watching? That's pretty interesting. And this is going to be a little different than what it used to be because people are struggling to get their act together now. We've been in lockdown for almost a year here. Going out and shopping, my big deal is to go to Woolies or Kohl's. That's my outing. And I might do that 4 times a week just to get out and about. Smile at people. If everybody gets near me, I might hug them. That scares them because we can't look at each other. We can't touch anybody. You can only see eyes coming on top of a mask. But that's going to change. And easing back in from where you've been anonymous for almost a year and be able to hide behind the mask and all the insecurities we have, now you're going to be confronted with people. And a lot of people are not going to be happy. Some of them will have opinions. Of course, that's what we're good at. It. We don't really have any answers for anybody, as I was saying. And there will be things happening that are not the same as before, and you have to be ingenious. You might have to come up with a new plan totally. There's lots of people who don't have the same jobs they had before because the companies have closed down, especially if you're in the service industry. You know, one of my sons lives in Melbourne and he's an entertainer and he hasn't worked in 2 years. And I don't know how he pays his mortgage or whatever, but he's not happy. And he's got all these ailments that come from living in fear and uncertainty in your life. And so we need sometimes to come up with a new plan. So this may be a good time for you to start thinking about what you're going to really do, where you're going to go with that. And if this is stimulating any questions, then I'm gonna back out and make it available for you guys to get in with us, because I don't want to do a workshop here. I just want to be available to give the information and answer as many questions as I can, or get some insights into things. But the things we're dealing with here primarily are uncertainty and fear. And we've been put into a really fear mode, which creates trauma in everybody. And a lot of the trauma could be coming from generations and generations. And all of a sudden, we're put in a situation we have to come face to face with trauma from our ancestors. So there's lots to think about, but there's lots we can do. And you might hear some midgets in the backyard because I live in a granny flat. And the hosts have 2 little midgets that jump on the trampoline. So there's not much I can do about that. Robyn's got music going, but I don't. And it makes me feel right because I'm a granddad, so it makes me right at home. So we're in.
Rob, I think you raised some interesting points there about getting back into the world, and one of my views around that, or should I say opinions, really, because that's, like Crow says, that's all we have. You know, we've all been told that there's this new normal, there's this new thing that we're all going to be involved in called life. And you know, I was really challenged from the perspective that I come, you know, going back to some shamanic principles. You know, the world is as you see it. So my challenge was that, well, this new normal needs to be driven by us, because we've come into this space and into this time for a purpose, and the purpose is different for each and every one of us, but unified in the energy that comes from the divine, for want of better terminology. So coming from that place that the world is as you see it, we need to decide for ourselves what this new normal is going to look like. And we need to take ownership over that new normal. And we need to decide how we are going to navigate as individuals through all of the challenges, through all of the change, the only constant in life is change, and in times of constant change, it's the learners who inherit the future. So we need to be equipping ourselves and deciding who we are going to be as a sovereign being in the new age of Aquarius.
The world order. Well, since you bring it into principles, then the best principle you can understand is there are no limits. So if we start off with the world's what I think it is, and there are no limits, then, I mean, this is where magic comes from. That's how we use it, because there's no limits. And if you work with that, there are three principles you need to look at. And I think that's important. The first three principles will guide you the right way if you're thinking the right thing. The first principle is the world's what you think it is, not what I think it is or anybody else. It's what you think it is that starts your day off and ends your day. The second principle, there are no limits. So in a situation there are no limits, you have to set limits. Because energy, the third principle, energy flows where attention goes. And what that means is that whatever you think about, that's what's going to happen to you. So if you're sitting there, and I was saying, planning for this new opening, this new awakening, then we got to bring in the fourth principle, of course, because they all work in concert. But those four is the fourth principle. Now is the moment of power. So what that actually means, at this moment in your life, you're as powerful as you're ever going to be. What are you going to do about it? Will you send that thought back to the past when you're insecure and fear and have it give you a symptom that makes you sick or breaks you down? Or will you actually take that energy and get your smoke out and beat your drum and piss on the ground, whatever's necessary to crank the energy up, because it is about making magic work for you. And if you don't do it, who's going to do it? I've got my own stuff I'm working on, and so is everybody else. So what happened? I got a T out of that. Does that mean something? Are we offline?
No, Crow,
You're
it's all
still
good.
there. I think a new person arrived.
Oh, okay. It's a bit scary, It's you're being monitored the whole time. You don't know who's watching you or saying anything to you. So. Okay, so if you take those four principles and apply it to whatever's going on now, keep in mind the world is what you think it is. Now, if you think that you're not going to survive, then guess what? You're not going to survive. There's that person again. Someone's giving me the pink tea. I don't know what I should do when that shows up. Oh, Tanya, you're the pink tea, are you, Tanya? Well, good to see you.
Hello, Tanya. I know Tanya. So yeah, we're talking about awakening in this new age and what that looks like for each and every one of us, and coming from our own position of truth. So one of the big things that I think we should all be challenged by is taking responsibility for how we respond to the energy of the time and how we choose to unravel our awakening around this new energy and around what is unfolding in the world. Because we, like Crow says, we have each our own worldview, and that becomes our reality based on the energy, because energy flows where attention goes. So it's taking ownership over that energy, taking ownership over our worldview, and creating that reality that we each want to see, and then walking in that and being responsible for that on an ongoing basis. Awakening, as we all know, is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process, and that's what we're entering into. We're entering into something that none of us have experienced before. We're all of Piscean energy. We all come from the age of Pisces, and now there's been shifts, there's been changes, there's things happening on a global scale that none of us have seen before, and we need to decide how we will come from a place of love and a place of peace, and how we will influence that change, and how we.
Guess what's going to happen? Okay, we're being recorded again. It's good. New South Wales Police, probably. Well, it's a bit like that, isn't it? You know, we really feel like we're under watch all the time, and this is not Australia. This is a draconian age or something, transition. Anyhow, if that fourth principle says now is the moment of power, and you're feeling like crap, guess what happens? You generate crap. And if you're feeling negative, you generate negative stuff. If you want to be attractive, you got to feel good about yourself. It's not your war paint or what you're wearing or what you drive around. It's really about you that makes you attractive. If you're looking for a new job, then you want to be attractive. You don't want to go on a job thinking, oh, I don't know if I want this job. And the people you're talking to, they're just as negative as you are. So you become like a repellent, like two North Poles bouncing away from each other. So when you think about, I'm going out, I need to do this, I've got to create something, make sure that you create energy that's going to make people feel good. And you have to feel good because we're all connected. We're all just one thing called a planet. And one of my philosophies is if I can get one person who likes themselves and can laugh, then I've changed the energy on the planet. It may be infinitesimal, but actually that person actually is contributing to good feelings. And that's what we're here about, to help people feel good about themselves, not go run around. If you're going to mope and feel bad, then you're wasting my time, and I'm not interested, because my job is always about turning negative stuff around and making it positive. It's not about my table, which is in my room. You know, I can put you on the rack all day long, but and I won't let anyone get off the rack without feeling good about themselves, because once you get in touch with yourself, realize how powerful you really are and what your capabilities are, all you have to do is turn it loose, not stifle it with negative emotions. And that all comes down to how you feel about yourself. Pardon me. So this is feel-good medicine. And if you don't know what to do, go walk amongst the trees for a couple of hours and find a place and sit. Take a pad and a pen with you and wait till your spirit tells you what you need to do. That's one of the best things you can do. And in certain countries on the planet, that's what doctors are writing for prescriptions. It's called earth bathing or earth walking. You get out and get amongst nature, because that's where you come from. You don't come from looking at your phone all day long or looking at your computer all day long. I do that, you know. Well, that's what my life's turned into. Instead of me seeing clients and getting my hands on them, and I'm on a computer, you know. No matter where I'm at in the world, I'm online doing the best I can. I'll still drum you. I'll still take you on a journey. I'll still hypnotize you. But it ain't the same as getting your hands on someone, because we're humans, and touch is one of the most important things we can do. So with your family, hug your kids, hug your partner, you know, see your granny, hug granny, just give everybody some. Is that something else? Is it here? It's kind of hard to tell. But sharing a little love is going to make this whole change a lot quicker for us, you know. And that's all that works anyhow. It's the only thing that heals. Tease on, tease off.
Hey, no, everyone's just coming in and out. That's cool. Can everyone hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me now? Okay. Alrighty. So I'll just introduce a little bit to what on my context of this wonderful discussion. It's not by accident that we're all here. We're all meeting here. I see it all as an ancient plan to begin to restoring and returning every soul of humanity to this new world of awakening. And that's what this conversation is about awakening in the new world. Oops, still just adding people as I go along here. Okay, so but I want to share my from the perspective of waking up, from the perspective of meditation and evolution. I'll just have a little bit of a chat here, just so that people can just understand a little bit of my context and my perspective. And I'm sort of going to come in and direct it in a little bit of a spin, as I do, and not about waking up in the real world. Hang on, still letting people in. not so much about waking up in the real world, but more so what is real. Waking up to what is real in the unreal world. Okay, so waking up to what is real in the unreal world can just give us a bit more of a spin on this. They're one and the same, right? So they're one and the same. So who you really are is already awake. So if you peel away all the layers of who you think you are based on your family, cultures, social, psychology, historical, religious, as what Pro was sharing, I'll just get you, Jean, if you can, if you are there, could you please mute yourself? Yeah, please mute yourself. Okay, so beneath all the labels and the identifications, we would all find ourselves actually in a completely present, free and awake situation. So everything that's occurring to us, as the guys have mentioned, comes from our conditioning, our labels, and what we think ourselves to be. The world we live in appears to be real, but what is real? Like, because reality, or what is relative and what's real, can mean a lot different things to so many people. So the world we live in appears to be real, but it's energy, it's moving, it's vibration, it's living energy, and everything's alive, and we're all part of that. And we've been all part of this experience together. You know, we've been doing this for 14 billion years. So from an evolutionary approach, this really inspires me, and as you can see, it's the fire in my belly to get excited about how to help people see spiritual awakening in a new world, or in an ever evolving world, or as Shane says, the age of Aquarian, right? The Aquarian Age. So what gives the illusion of it being real, here we go again, is back to the power of belief. When you believe something is real, for all intents and purposes, it appears real and reacts real. But once again, as the Shaman principle is, energy flows where attention goes, or what you believe in becomes your reality. That is what creates the world and how we see it. So, that's a little bit an opening, and just jump on in, and we can just add on to that. It is an evolutionary approach is a little bit different, but it's the one and the same.
Well said, Robyn. I'm sure there are people there who have some questions, and we would love to share your thoughts and ideas and engage with you and explore what you're thinking. So if you're shy like me, please put them in the chat box, and I can read them out for you.
See, that was too easy. You're not allowed to do that, Shane.
There I am, trying to be of service.
Okay, well, the interesting thing about all this is that what's your plan? You know, there used to be a show in, maybe it was the 60s or 70s, I Spy, with Bill Cosby and Robert Hope. It's a couple of detective guys with a humor. And they'd get themselves in these things, and they say, well, what's your plan? He says, well, I thought you had the plan. He says, no, it's your plan. And they do this routine, but it is. Anyone that works with me, they have to come up with a 90-day plan. So this isn't so much about what we're doing now. It's about where you're going with this and where you're sending the energy. And when you make this plan, guys, make sure that you feel good about the plan and your spirit feels good about it. Because your spirit, or Ku, and Huna is the right term for that. Ku likes pleasure, not pain. So if you start thinking painful stuff, the first thing Ku's going to do is give you an emotion, and attached to that emotion is a symptom. And this is where illness comes from. So also your aspects are pretty important as you go along. Like, for instance, if you're an Aries, Taurus, or a Gemini, well, your primary lesson is an illumination. You know, that's about knocking on doors and getting books in the face and not doing anything about it. If you are your aspects are Crab, Leo, or Virgo, then your primary lessons to get over innocence and trust. Regaining your innocence and gaining trust. And people with that aspect usually are getting their bum kicked very early, so they have to keep working on knowing the world is okay, you know, and just the innocence of watching birds fly or rain on the windowsill can make a big difference in your life rather than woe is me. If you are a hands up.
Oh, hands up. Here's a good question for everyone. So I didn't mean to butt in, Crow, but I'd like to get people more engaged. Who is it? Who doesn't know what their purpose is? Is anyone in this forum unsure of what their purpose is, or purpose is, or seems to be unable to know how to not so much manifest, but create and know what their purpose is? Why are you here? What is your soul's purpose on this earth? So can anyone kind of add to that? Is anyone not sure of what their purpose is? Maybe we can go from there. Can we get some?
Layla has her hand up.
No, I don't know what my purpose is.
Know what your purpose is.
And Medicine Crow about a plan. I love a plan, right? And there's no plan. Like all my plans are, either I'm having a hard time realizing plans, let alone purpose. It gets derailed.
So why does it get derailed? Okay, so the thing is, it's not about so much about the plan. It's not about the plan or the purpose, but what is it that's actually sabotaging and getting derailed? Who's sabotaging it and who's derailing it?
Collective consciousness that makes housing super expensive.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, right? Is that my fault?
No, it isn't. What the fault is fear and greed. And these are the problems that we've been faced with all along. This is all about how people feel about themselves. So the problem is low esteem. People think they have to have more. And people are greedy. The councils are greedy, you know. I remember living in the eastern suburbs, and the council would have a meeting at 2 o'clock in the morning and raise all the rates on everyone's houses. You know?
Well, I just want a house, right? So I've been saving for 12 years, and I can't keep up, right? Like, so that's really depressing. So I have to change my goal.
Just stop that right now. There's no such word as can't.
Well,
you know, once you say you can't, you just stopped it. The world's what you think is. I can't keep it. Bang, you're done, mate.
That's right. That's why I need to change my goal.
Well, just give me a plan. Where you want to be by December?
Good idea.
Well, you don't want a quick plan. Well, you've got to work on it, and you've got to live it, sis. You can't just say, I want to do this. All right, good. But what's the outcome? And it's all about prayer and ceremony. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Prayer is focus, imagination, intent. It's got nothing to do with Christ or Buddha or any of these guys running around. Prayer is about you talking to yourself. So what are you focused on? What does your imagination tell you you're doing? And what do you want the outcome to do? But the bottom line is, what's the deal? What are you going to put back for what you're asking for? It's not going to get a priest pray for you. It's really about you make it happen. And the universe sits there like this big genius says, your wish is my command. But if you're being negative, I can't do this, I can't do that, but I want this, you get Buckleys. If you go, okay, please, Spirit, let me have a house, and it's going to make me a better person, and I'm going to go out and I won't run over little old men in the crosswalk. Well, at least that's a prayer. But make sure you don't run over little old men, or I want to plant 4 trees if you let me have this. Go plant your bloody trees and not sit around thinking the universe is just going to give you something because you're asking for it. People who have religion are asking all the time, and they're not getting anything out of it. because you started off with fear and guilt. You know, we're guilty of sin. We're not guilty of sin. You know, our society is based on keeping us down, and you can see what's going on. So, you know, as my mom would say, get those ovaries on your hip and wear them like a gunfighter. You know, she was always positive, and don't be afraid to go out and ask for it, because you can ask for anything you want if you do it right and you put the deal in place.
I think people may not understand that they who they are. When you know who you are as this, you are this creative process. You are this ecstatic emergence, right? This is you. We are capable. We are made of the same energy, the same spirit, the same likeness of the divine, of this incredible creative principle, and it's important that we know that that's who we are, instead of looking outside of ourselves, thinking that something outside of ourselves is going to be the answer to our prayer. We need to be the prayer, become the prayer. We've got to be knowing that in every cell of our being, that the prayer and I are the same and one, and that we are being co-creative in this developing our purpose. And so prayer and intention and chanting and dancing and ritual, that is all just like, I am that, and I'm part of it, not separate from it. And it's got to be driven by passion and conviction. Yeah. So if you're just kind of going in like really like, oh, I'm going to pray, and you know, if you're coming into it all sloppy, well then you're going to manifest sloppy. But if you're coming in with it with fire in your belly and passion, and you're coming into it the same ecstatic emergence that created the Big Bang, like go in with those guns firing.
That's why we use drums and rattles and bells and bowls and bongs and all that, because we're making our bangs. You're putting that energy out. So if you're saying a prayer, we'll take it another step if I can. Remember that prayer is about you talking to yourself, okay? There's no one else around. You go, Spirit, do this, that, the other. And a little prayer of gratitude will help you every day. Normally, I'll have my clients write up a list of what they're grateful for, and they're surprised what they have going for themselves, besides listening to television and someone's negative opinion about what's going on the planet. You don't know who to believe anymore. You know, you got doctors and scientists on both sides telling you all this stuff. You're going to die if you don't get the needle. You're going to die if you do get the needle. It doesn't matter. It's your opinion. It's your decision on how you travel with your body and what you want to accomplish with it. I had a client say, well, what am I going to do? I said, well, I don't know, man. If I hadn't got the needle, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, because I couldn't even get on the plane to get over here. You know, it doesn't matter. What matters is that the world's what I think it is, and I'm going to be okay, and this is what I'm going to do. I spend my whole life putting energy out, and it always surprises me when it comes back so fast. You know, and so if you want something to happen, then bloody well make it happen. You know, we have that. I'm not going to quote another principle, because that sort of governs my life. I have the system that I teach for since I've been here, 30 years of me teaching this. And I have people come and say, Crow, you said that 15 years ago. And I said, okay, what's the third principle? Huh? It's on the fridge. Well, it's not doing you any good on the fridge, mate. You need to be working off the system. Now, the sixth principle is crucial. All power comes from within. Doesn't come from your car or a bunch of kids, or you got a flash job, or you got a good looking spouse, or whatever your trip is. What the power comes from is right in the center of your chest. And in the center of your chest, under your heart chakra, is the thymus gland, and that's the immune gland. And if you don't like yourself, you're stuffed. Okay? That's the bottom line. And so you need to change your attitude about what you're doing and make it happen. You know, and if you got a drum, get out and beat the crap out of your drum. Put that energy out in the universe. Let them know you're coming. This is a great.
Just want to jump in there, Crow. We've got a question.
Smoke in the background there, dude. You all right?
Yeah, I'm very good. Very, very good. Christine's got a question, and this is very, very relevant to the whole conversation. And it is this: I have so many things I want to do. I don't know which one is my purpose. How do I choose from so many loves? Well, see, there's this beautiful old scripture. If you're familiar with the scriptures, and it says, "When you delight yourself in the Lord being our creative source, he will give you the desires of your heart." So, to bring a shamanic principle in, and the favorite of mine is energy flows where attention goes. What you focus on is, or where you focus on is where you're going to arrive. If you don't have a plan,
rare, isn't it?
Yeah. If you don't have a plan, you are going to arrive exactly there, nowhere.
Yeah.
As far as your purpose goes, or as far as figuring out why am I here and I can't wait to start my purpose and my journey, well, newsflash, you're already on your journey.
Yeah, this is
already walking in your purpose. So we want to make excuses, and we want to wait for this golden light to appear and the waters to part and angels to appear and say, you are the chosen one and here is your path. Well, I haven't met a guru yet, or even a normal person that is actually for real experienced that. It generally comes out of falling over, scraping the skin off your knees, climbing back up, and figuring out I'm actually in my purpose. And then knowing what your purpose or the destination looks like, and going where your desires, and that's the key, Christine. You have so many loves. Follow the love. Love is the most powerful thing. Love is that thing that resonates within you. So follow that. That should be your guiding light.
That sounds pretty good.
And I think too, Shane, I saw that you wrote something out the other day. It was really good about turning your attention to your heart. So by turning your attention through the practice of through meditation, you will find that whatever you're trying to work out your purpose from your head, and all of these loves, all these things that I love, then what you're doing is you're continuing to be questioning all of those thoughts in your mind. And if you just, by stopping and meditating and turning your attention inward and going deep into the heart space, the heart center, then you will, and staying there, not being distracted, and I know you don't do that, Chris. I know that you're very dedicated to meditation, and dropping that seed deep into the center, into the heart center, then what will arise is the answers, and the wisdom arises from the depth of your being. The wisdom and the answers don't come from your head, right? They're just ideas, but the wisdom and the answers that come from your deeper self as a soul will come from your heart center, from within, not from trying to work it out here. So that's something that was another important way to.
Kerry's just chimed in on the chat. Now, Kerry is somebody I work with and mentor. Now, Kerry, I can't see you because you don't have your video on. Kerry's very shy. Kerry has an amazing story, but what Kerry has said here is that, hello, Kerry, there she is.
Hi, Kerry.
Kerry, are you able to just unmute and verbalize? Now, Kerry's a public speaker, so this shouldn't be too much of a challenge.
What do you want me to expand?
Just what you said in the chat there.
Oh, read it out. Oh, okay. So I was in my 40s before I discovered what my life purpose was. But like Shane said, I was already walking that path, and that is to help humanity coexist with nature. Oh, and here's my partner in crime, Christian,
hello,
just
Christian.
moving around past in the background.
Oh, sorry, people. I thought she was going crazy because I couldn't see
We
who she
all
was
are,
talking
but
to.
we're all going crazy.
Now, Kerry.
Yeah.
Kerry has this amazing story, and this is encouraging, because what happens is we can be in the most unlikely of places when we realize that may not be a fit with our ultimate goal, but it's what helps us get there and arrive. Kerry was working in coal mines, and she had a passion for the environment, And she now owns and runs a business that operates across 2 states that is completely in the business of restoring native habitats. So when you're stuck in the coal mine and it's in such contrast to where your heart is, you know what? The universe is teaching you stuff and preparing you and making a way so that you can actually arrive and so that you can actually bring that knowledge with you. Sorry, Kerry, to dump you in there, but I just know your story and it's
All
powerful.
good.
It's powerful stuff.
Well, that's what we're talking about, really, isn't it? You know, my approach is a little bit different because I'm looking at the physical aspects of what creates the problem or what creates the new energy. And it really boils down to how you feel about yourself. You know, energy flows where attention goes, but if there's negative energy coming out of you, then you're creating the negative energy to block everything that happens. And I like quoting principles, so I'm going to quote another one. Its effectiveness is the measure of truth. Is it working? Now, I find that principle kicks me in the bum quite a bit because I'll be doing something and then it's going wrong. And I'll say, boy, there's some principles killing me today, man, because everything I do is blowing up in my face. So if it's not working, then bloody well do something else. If you're down a road and you find that there's a pit there with crocodiles and vipers, and if you fall into it, you're going to get stuck and eaten. Otherwise, take the other road to the right. Don't go to that one. You know, find a way out so it's effective. And your purpose, guys, whether you think so or not, is about self-love. You come on this planet to learn about love. And from the time you're born to the time they put you in the box, everyone's telling you you're not worth it. You can't love yourself and you're guilty. And relatives and family, I mean, as soon as you're born, someone smacks you on the bum, makes you cry. So we come into this place, and if you're lucky, by the time you get to 27 and your first Saturn return, you're going to be still alive. Otherwise, most people won't even make it because there's so much negativity in their lives. They don't think they can do anything that's positive, which is wrong. You are a creative being. You can do anything. There are no limits. If you apply your focus on what you want to do and you have a plan. Energy has to go to someplace and it needs a time and a place because you have to stop it. You know, so if you're wanting something, I don't know if you can see me, if that's my hand there, and you've got a prayer and you're sending a prayer out, well, if you don't give it a time and a date, the when and the how, that prayer goes on out into the universe. But if you go, in 90 days, that's what's I'm going to have a house. It's going to look like this. It's going to be that. I'm going to pay so much money. And you start doing that. Maybe you get your drum out or some clapsticks, but make some noise. Don't be timid about asking. You know, you can ask for anything you want. Make sure the deal is there, though, because if you give me all this, I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to get along. I'm going to do something. But you're going to put something back that's worthwhile. And the universe will give it to you. So you don't use can'ts, I'm not available, any of that negative stuff, because that just stops the flow. And the biggest problem is we won't get out of the way of our own crap. So I'm not good at niceties with words, but that's how it goes. And so energy flows where attention goes, yes, but the world's what you think it is.
Okay, we have another question here. We just want to keep on get flowing with these when we can. Off Tonim. I hope that's saying that right, Tonim. I've recently been told I've recently been told I need to trust Tony. Hi, Tony. I've recently told Tony M. I've recently told I need to trust myself more so I can discover my true purpose. I second guess myself all the time. Generally, my first thought is on point, but then I overthink it. My biggest challenge is trusting that first thought. Well, we can all share and add to that. You know what I found, guys, that in order to get any of this, your purpose worked out, why you're here, why bad things happen to good people, why is there chaos, why is the world the way that it is? How do I manifest and how do I find my purpose? So what I found, the very first step that I need to take was, and what everyone needs to take actually, is a very big one. So if we actually see that the world, the relative world that we live in, which is relatively real, it's made of form, objects, it's material. In order for us to completely partake in this experience wholly, completely, we must not just know ourselves as this human experience, or not even just the spiritual being having human experience. There is, and I was in that myself. So my whole pathway was waking up and then finding who I am as a spiritual being. So moving into all of the esoteric teachings, connecting with the light, the dimension of light, and there were still things that just still wasn't working, and I was wondering why. Why is it that I'm still not able to really deeply initiate and embody what it was that I wanted at the depth of my heart? This feeling of self-love. What is self-love, or love of the self? So I was always still trying to work this concept of loving the self and what that meant, because it can be quite difficult, especially when you're looking in the mirror and you're not happy with the way you look. And so it doesn't matter how many people go, yeah, I look in the mirror and I'm going, yep, I'm pretty cool, I'm happy with every perfect part of who I am. And it's just not real. That's not real. So because this body is all part of the unreal, right? The illusion, the part of us that's been created based on our thoughts and our conditioning, as we shared earlier. So what I found the key was that we had to just temporarily, in order to know yourself as a soul, you must be willing to temporarily let absolutely everything go and take an inner journey beyond everything beyond form, beyond time, beyond thought, and right back to the beginning before the universe was born. Remember, I'm using this from coming together to share from a context of meditation and evolution. So and meditation is this journey back through the eye of the needle. So by understanding that before the beginning of the universe, there was no time, no form, no space. There was absolute emptiness. And that absolute emptiness was this ground, what is called the ground, the foundation of being. It is the womb in which all of creation was birthed from. It is a void, an abyss of total peace. Okay? And if you're able to go there, it is profound. I will connect up with you, or I even have a meditation that can help you go there. So before the beginning of all existence, there was nothing, and we were all there. And that is what I call the absolute reality. Now, when we fall deeply into that void, into that abyss, into that self, into that emptiness where there's nothing, the background, everything falls away, time falls away, your body, the world falls away and disappears. And all that remains is this empty, pristine, peaceful, unlimited awareness. Now, from that space of peace, total peace, the active movement, or so out of the darkness there rose the concept of the Big Bang. The light, which is we're all that, we are the light, that is our consciousness, our spirit, our soul. So the light and the movement, this evolutionary movement, this ecstatic movement into creativity, it comes from that ground of being. So therefore, if we turn our attention back in and we move into that beautiful womb of creativity, back into the abyss, back into that peace, into that peaceful ocean, and when we deeply move into that place, then what the very first active movement, the very first movement from that ground of being, that peaceful abyss, is light and the love of the divine coming into form to have its experience, So the love arises out of that abyss. So when you have a peaceful heart, when you are fully immersed and embodied as a peaceful being, then what arises from that inner sense of your heart space is love, right? So love arises from there. So in order for you to find what it is that you love, what is my purpose, what is it is your purpose is what it is that you do effortlessly and that you love so deeply, as what was just shared with Shane. And when you find what it is that you love and what you have a passion about, then that active movement of love then becomes what it is. It's sort of like it arises, and it's your movement. It will take you, and it will create itself, just like all of existence has been created. So by moving into your own, through meditation, through the context of meditation and evolution, if you turn your attention back to that beautiful abyss, that beautiful inward turning back into the self as a soul, as peace, I am a peaceful being. And then from that heart of a peaceful being, what arises out of that is love, right? And what arises out of that space of love is creation. And you are the co-creator, and that's where you will continue to manifest or co-create, because we are all made of the same substance and the same likeness and substance. So I just recommend that for people as much as possible. If you're trying to work it out in your head, sure, there's plenty of things that we can do cognitively. We can look at trauma. We can see things that we're sabotaging or holding us back. But I can promise you the most important thing that we've all found on our journey is to be able to return through meditation or contemplation on the inner stillness. When we meet the inner stillness and silence.
My hands up.
You're next. Go.
Okay. I understand all that, but I think if you wanted some peace in your mind without trying to come up with a meditation and doing that, you need to go walk in the woods and find yourself a rock and sit. It's called stillness exercises. People pay me to take them out into the bush for a vision quest for 4 days of sitting with a tree to your back and saying prayers, looking for answers. But the answers always come from within. Now, meditation is a really tricky thing. There's lots of ways of doing it, and it depends on what discipline you've come from. But thinking about your shopping list is a meditation. You know, sitting on the deck and just gazing out at nature can do that. There's lots of things you can go without getting too spiritual. You know, this is about walking on the planet. And I'm an Indian, so it's about putting your feet in the ground, taking your shoes off, getting yourself connected, and go out and sit and watch a tree breathe. Now, when's the last time you looked at a tree and know that it can breathe? Well, it does. So that's stillness exercises. You don't have to disappear. When you leave your body, your spirit still lasts. I mean, you don't go anywhere. Energy is energy. You know, that's just a skin suit you're wearing. And you can wear it or you can abuse it. And if you abuse it too much, then it's going to rust on you and have things growing off of it. But basically, the easiest thing to do is go down a nature path, find a tree, look at its face. All trees have faces, and sit and shut up and listen. And if you shut up and listen, your spirit will tell you exactly what you're supposed to do. That's the lesson of the West, the courage of introspection, the courage to listen to yourself. No one wants to listen to themselves. They want to look at what's happening on television or what's in the news or what's on Fox, or you're going to sit with a bunch of people and they're going to tell you all these wonderful things. All you need to do is be quiet. If you go sit, find a rock or a bump or something, or take a little chair out with you. Find a place that, if you got kids that you're not running with midgets running around, biting on your ankles and asking you for money, just go sit in nature and listen, and if you can spend an hour or 2 hours, at least 2 or 3 times a day, you're going to get all the answers you need. If you want to incorporate that with some deep meditation, well, you could do that anywhere where there's quiet and peace. But the most peaceful thing is being where we come from. If you get out amongst trees, if you can sit still for an hour, everyone that lives in that area is going to come out. All those animals and insects and everybody's going to come and be around you, because you have to blend in. You don't go out there thinking you're going to do this. You're just going to be out, be still, and be a part of nature and get reconnected. Take your shoes off, guys. Get your roots in the ground. If you don't have time for that, go put your hands in dirt and just get connected to where we come from. You know, the biggest problem is we think too bloody much. And we think too much because we've read everything on the sun, read this, read that, and you keep reading, looking for it where it's already there. And I'll go back and I'll repeat the lesson of Bear. If you have questions, the answers lie within, for no one has answers for you. So if you want the information, shut up and be still, go sit near a tree and take a pad and a pen with you. You'll be surprised at what comes up. And if you get a chance, then we can always take you on a journey, or you could, there's, I think Robyn's got journeys, DVDs and things like that, that you can be in a peaceful state if you can't get out into nature. But if you can get in nature, it's going to save you bacon, because you're going to get reconnected and you're going to get grounded. Most people don't know where they are because they don't have a point of reference, but you're always with you. That's where you're coming from. And if your feet on the ground, you're just mentally, and you're just floating all over the place. There's no focus. So focus, imagination, intent. Do a prayer. Spirit, please allow me to feel good. I feel great today. Thank you for, I'm waking up, you know, bless your kids. Get some blessings out there. Do something instead of worrying about other people's crap. It's their stuff. This is about you, and this is about you being quiet inside and allowing your spirit to talk to you. I'm not too much on soul and religion anymore, even though I am a minister, but I don't do that stuff anymore. I just say, people, get connected to yourself. You're a spirit. No one's going to connect you like you. And sure, that's what we're facilitators. We do a job at helping people get connected. But mate, you're already connected, and this is your journey. You know, you get squirted out one end and they put you in the box in the other, and you're worried. Everyone's worried about getting there. When you get there, they're going to burn you up and put you in an urn. So don't worry about getting there. This is it. This is your movie. Write your script. Don't be afraid to get out there and have a dream. Make your dreams a reality. Remember, when you're asking for something, what's the deal? What are you going to put back for what you're asking for? And it's really simple. It's not complicated. It doesn't require anything but you in a quiet place where you feel safe amongst trees in nature. And I'll guarantee you, if you're sitting still, the next thing you know, everyone comes out of the woodwork. They all come around because they recognize you as a part of them. We come out of the cities where there's horns and cars and people who don't like themselves, that don't give a stuff about you or anyone else, and they're doing all this stuff. And I look at all these people that are in power and religious and all that, and they all have the same problems we have, you know, and they're trying to find something better than them. And there's nothing better than you. You know, your spirit is connected to the universe or God, if that works for you, which is pretty modern concept. Most people in countries have different gods. But God is that tree you're looking at, and you're seeing it breathe, and then you realize that that tree is what it's all about. And the funny thing about trees is that they actually speak to you. If you can shut your mind down enough to listen. And stillness exercises are the best thing on the planet, and that's why people do meditation. Yogis spend decades of learning how to get their mind still. But as an Indian, you just go sit out in nature, get your feet, shoes in nature, and sit. And it may take you a little half an hour or so before your mind slows down, because it's, oh, I better get up and have a cup of tea. I think I answered the phone. Oh, look at my phone. You know, your intellect is doing all that, but it's just cutting things up because the intellect's sharp. I kind of like to feel I'm not educated, because intellectuals are busy deciphering things and analyzing things and putting things in boxes. And you don't have to have any of that. You have everything you need You came in with all the tools you need, but you have lessons and aspects that come along with it. So if you know what your aspect is and you know what your premise is, then you're in good shape, you know? So who's that in front of me now?
Crow, can I just cut in there?
Yeah.
Colleen asked the question. Colleen from the ACT asked the question quite a while back, or actually made a comment. Sorry, not asked the question. And it was around your purpose. And, you know, Colleen, you have absolutely nailed it. You have absolutely answered it, because this is the dilemma, and this is what Crow was touching on. It's basically Colleen said that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to know what our purpose is, and that we often get stuck in our head, and you know, rather than enjoying the day to day. Now, the head, this thing between our ears that floats in water called our brain, it's a tool, and most people don't really understand what it's for, because we go to the programming centers, which are called schools and universities, and all the focus is put on this brain, this processing computer that is really there to protect us from, you know, it's a machine of logic. It calculates. It's what our brain is really all about. So you're right, Colin. We get bogged down in this headspace instead of coming from here, from a place of spirit, or a place of soul, or a place of heart, whatever you want to call it. And that's when we connect with everything Crow's talking about. And that's when we begin to listen with our heart, because you will hear so much more in relation to your purpose when you're listening from a heart perspective. This thing here is going to give you every reason why you can't, because it's designed to protect you and keep you safe. It's designed to, you know, remove you from the danger. Whereas this will take you wherever you need to go. And when you're in flow and when you're in harmony with your creative source and your purpose is fluid, again, Colleen, it's like our head wants to tell us, well, this is your purpose. You shall not stray from it, but your purpose can and will be fluid. So thank you, Colleen. I just wanted to acknowledge your message there, because it was very, very spot on.
Can I add something to that? Looks like today is my day for principles. The bottom line, what we're talking about is love, okay? The definition of love is to be happy with. And that's something that we need to think about. Most of us aren't happy with ourselves. And the program that we get, it's called primacy learning. And it's usually been passed down by your relatives. And keep in mind, there's two things: there's family and there's relatives. And some of those people don't really like you at all. But if you realize that love means to be happy with, and if you're happy when you ask for something, 9 times out of 10, the universe is going to give it to you. So it is about how you feel and where you direct your attention to, you know, and come back, get your plan down, you know, get it on paper, see it in words. You know, you can contact us and say, oh, this is my plan. What do you think? And you won't get a comment that says it's not good. It'll be, well, why don't you try doing this, you know? That should change that. That's a word that we shouldn't use, because try means you're not doing anything. Attempt is a better word. Find a word that works for you, that's positive. Stop using negative words, and it'll stop blocking the flow. You know, we really have to be conscious about tasting our words, and the words can be in thoughts that are not being spoken at all. And that's happening most of the time. And that's what's stopping us, because we can't get out of the way of ourselves. So love means to be happy with. And all power comes from within. And the center for that is your heart. Power comes out of the center of your chest. If I'm drumming, the energy comes out of my heart, down my right arm, through the drum beater, into the drum, and back up through my left arm. It's a big circle, but I'm sending energy out. If I was a sorcerer and was negative, then I would send negative energy out through my heart. And that's what they call black witchcraft and white witchcraft. They like to give it a color, but it's really about how people feel about themselves and what they can accomplish. If you're feeling good about yourself, whatever you want's going to come to you, because you get rewarded. The universe will give you rewards for feeling good. And it boils down to who likes pleasure, doesn't like pain. So watch what you're thinking. It stops the flow. Rob, you're in.
Yeah. We have, thanks, Val. Val wrote, thoughts, emotions, and actions can equal alignment when we let it. We'll just add one more to that. It's spirit, thoughts, emotions, actions can equal alignment. It is imperative that we actually do have a relationship with consciousness, with the divine, with God, with spirit, with soul, whatever it is. And honestly, it's true. They're only just words, whatever works, as you can see, because we're coming from different contexts ourselves, and we've had so many different experiences. And so, just aligning with your higher self, right? Your true self. So when I say connecting with your soul, moving inward and moving, going back to the ground of being, that is, as I share, that is the context of meditation. That is in the context of evolution. That is how I view things myself, and that's where I teach from. So I teach from the context of meditation and evolutionary enlightenment. So, but the true self, the higher self. So when we're aligned with our true self, our soul, our spirit, whatever it is, the aspect of the self that is energy, that is frequency, that's quantum, whatever you call it, when we are in alignment with that, then also what follows with that is positive thoughts and positive emotions, and then of course, and then the the actions comes into comes out as in alignment. So I see the true self, the soul, the light, the aspect of the self that we know is an extension, the mystery of this magnificent and grand intelligence that is beyond even what we're trying to conceive and contain in this limited little avatar called the body, and then taking that true self, embodying it, remembering it, so that we're embodying it on the earth plane, on the relative world, on the earth, in the third dimension. So we're bringing our higher self, our light, the self as light, as love, as spirit. And when that true self, that higher self, has woken up to its true nature on the earth plane, it is our true nature. That's what it is. It's our authentic nature. That is what is our purpose. It is our authentic nature that is the one that moves as a conscious, awake, spiritual being having a human experience. So we have our higher self, our true self, embodied upon the earth as living as an authentic self. So so that's something that's very probably important. And so we have go out in nature and connect with nature, because that will just instantly align you, and being very mindful of your thoughts and your conditioning, but also meditation, moving into stillness and silence. So there's so much that we can really, if we are truly compelled to wake up, if it's something that we truly want, is what everything that you really want. If you want to wake up as much as a drowning man wants his next breath, then it takes commitment, it takes conviction, and that's what the three of us have done to be able to be here, to be sharing with you. And we also know that that's what you guys have done, so that you're here as well. We're all in this together. It is that the part of us that's compelling, that's driving us towards waking up, that has us all here, and and sharing together as a tribe and a community. So,
okay, I'll add a bit to that. The most important thing is that you're on your path. Now, what happens to people is they start thinking, and you become intellectual, and you get off your path. So you're not driven by spirit, you're driven by intellect. And the intellect is what gets you in trouble. If you're on your path, you just follow it, and everything that's supposed to happen comes, and your spirit already knows what you're supposed to be doing. You know, you might be a high-powered mogul in an office, and you're sitting out in nature, and the birds are chirping, and the kookaburras laughing at you, and you get this message, you know, you think, I think I'm going to become a florist, and I'm going to open a florist shop. Well, that's probably your spirit said, you need to go work with flowers. And you go, right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to open a flower shop, and that flower shop's going to be really successful because that's what you're supposed to be doing. It's that simple. You know, we always look for something that's got to be complicated. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this unless I was forced to do it. You know, when everything I tried didn't work and I was sitting there figuring out, what am I going to do? This is what came to me. And I like this person. You know, I like the guy that I'm driving around in a skin suit. You know, I found out that I don't have to be angry anymore, even though that's what was driving me. And as a kid, I was told I was never going to amount to anything. So I spent my whole life proving I was going to be good and better, you know, and I had all these careers and I'd get to the top and go, I don't want to do this. So I'd reinvent myself. In fact, I'm reinventing myself at the moment, you know. It's all about that. You know, if you don't like the person you do something else. Sudden principle. If it's not effective, it could be effective. But if you're not happy with it, there's something else you should be doing so you can be happy. It may be going out and being a fisher person and fishing. The next thing you know, you're a championship fisher person and you got this business where everyone's after your fish. I don't know. Only you know. But you have to listen to yourself. If it comes through a meditation of any sort, but stillness exercises is what's going to give it to you, because if you're not listening to yourself, you're getting everything else coming through. You can't pay attention to what's coming at you off of social media. You know, if I do that every day, I'm so confused, I don't know who to believe. You know, and there's rights on both sides and there's wrongs on both sides. And no one is an expert, believe me. The only expert in you is you. So it's better to listen to yourself than everybody else's opinion. You can always come to me to get my opinion. I'll charge you for it. But you have the answers. I don't have answers for you. The answers lie within. So everybody needs to practice a bit of bear medicine. If it's a meditation with Robyn, or a journey away with me, or a journey with my mind's not working. I get excited. With Shane, or you just getting out in nature with your drum and beating the crap out of that drum and putting your energy out, not afraid to beat it until you're sweating. Make it happen. Create the energy. You have it within you. We're creative beings. The world's what you think it is. I'm going to make this happen today. You go out and make it happen. But add a little magic to it, you know, put on some fancy clothes and put some war paint on, get the lippy going, you know, whatever it takes for you to get you cranking up, because you're creating the magic with what you're adding to it. You know, burn some smoke. Everyone likes burning sage nowadays. They don't know why, but smoke is visible prayer. And tobacco is the holy of all holies. If you throw a pinch of tobacco at when you're praying, that goes up. And they say that the universe sees your prayers in tobacco. I think sage works, the cedar works, so anything that's smoke. You can use eucalyptus leaves for all I care. Mugwort's really good for women. You know, get into it, guys. Don't sit around waiting for it to happen. You're making it happen. The world's what you think it is. There are no limits. Remember those principles. There are no limits. There's nothing to stop you but you and your negativity. And I'll tell you what I tell anyone. If you don't do that soon, I'll call your mom and tell her you're being crazy. You know what she's going to say. So no matter where she is, my mom knows where they are. That's supposed to be funny. No one's getting humor out of that. But there you go.
Well said, Craig. Leanne. Hello, Leanne. Hello, Leanne. How are you? Good. Leanne asked the question, and I think it's a really good question. Do you think when we are children, do we know what our purpose is? and then life changes our path. Well, I think we've all got a view on that. I think we come with this sense of innocence for sure, and then we get it beat out of us by the world system and all the people around us that have their opinion on how we should be to make them feel more comfortable about themselves. So you're spot on. You're spot on, Leanne. You know, we come with this innocence, and then this big bad world comes and beats it out of us a lot of the time. Then we have to remember, and we need to get involved with our smoke and remember.
Oh, mate. It's important, though, that ceremony goes a long ways. You know, if you go to a cathedral and the priest is coming down the center of the aisle, what do you think he's doing? He's smudging everybody, you know, and a lot of times people forget what they're doing when they do ceremony. It's just something we do. When ceremony has to have purpose, you know, if you pull out your smoke, you're sending out energy. And amongst my culture, when we smudge, you bathe yourself in the smoke, and you're saying the prayers while your head is being bathed in the smoke, so your prayers are visible. You know, it's really crucial that you understand that when we smoke what they call the peace pipe, the chanupa, you don't inhale it, you puff it, and the smoke is around your head, and you're saying your prayers or whatever you're doing so that the universe sees it or spirit sees your prayers, and it kind of feels that your prayers get answered because they're actually visible. So there's little things that you create to add the magic to your ceremony, you know. And if you want a ritual's just doing it the same way all the time. If you boil down the river, it's just focus, imagination, intent. And you can throw a little magic in, because you can then, if you're going to do a ceremony, you could go put a fancy garb on and get some bells on and put your earrings on and do whatever you want to add to. You're getting ready to do something. So make it festive. You know? Don't be afraid to get out there and go for it. And when you're burning your smoke, you're asking your prayers and you're getting out there. If you can just clap your hands together, you know, it doesn't matter. Make some noise. Don't be afraid. Don't be a silent lamb. Get out there. You know, let them know you're coming. You know, just go for it. You know, and it's waiting for you. It's all sitting there. There are no limits. It just depends on what you want to do. But if you're going to wallow in your fear and your insecurities, then you're the one who's going to go down the gurgle. Come out. I saw the hand there, WIC there.
So what if everybody already knows what their purpose is?
Sure they do.
What if you already do know? So we come onto this earth as pure, innocent, the most purest, the most closest thing to the divine or God or universe, whatever it is you want to call it, the closest thing to the purity of it. The purity of a soul, of spirit, is a newborn baby, right? So that soul comes in onto the earth. It comes in as this purity. We all see it. We all know it. That's why we love little newborn babies. And prior to the embodiment, prior to their incarnation upon the earth, it's like we all know what we're here for. We've all known. We've always known. So then the pathway doesn't change based on something that's not already in the blueprint or the contract. You know, there's all these words that get thrown around. So every one of us are on this evolutionary expansion, right? So here we are, is in the beginning, the creator or God was, this is nothing, empty, nothing, and decided to create itself in order for it to become conscious of itself through form, okay? Otherwise, it's just the divine, it's just this void, not doing anything, sitting there, bored now, I think I'll create something. And so out of that nothingness, out of that emptiness, out of that incredible power, out of that very incredible, powerful source of creativity, then it knew already from the moment 14 billion years ago that it was on this trajectory, this process to experience itself in form. But first it experienced itself through atoms and molecules and stars and galaxies and dinosaurs. And here we are today. It's still on this process of learning and remembering and expanding and evolving itself into being, right? And what's happening is we're remembering who we are through this process. So every soul is part of that explosion. We were all there. We were all in that tiny pinprick of light. We were all that light, and we all knew very well what was occurring. Not us per se within these little boxes, but ourselves as the divine, as the universal intelligence. So we all come here to remember the true nature of our being. So what is our purpose? I remember asking this question to one of my spiritual teachers back, 25 years ago. Why are we here? What is our purpose? And he just answered it so simply, and it's stayed with me ever since. We're here for 2 reasons. It's 2 reasons we are here. One is to wake up to the true nature of our being, to wake up and remember that the true nature of our being is that we are this infinite, most beautiful, radiant, innocent and pure being, soul, spirit, whatever you want to call it. And I said, well, what's the other reason we're here? And he said, to just remind it to everybody else, just to broadcast that message, just like we're doing here. We'll wake up, we've woken up, we remember who we are, we're a spiritual being, we're a beautiful, innocent, pure being, and over time we have forgotten that, and we've been conditioned, so that's been changed and conditioned out of us, so to speak, and now we're all coming home, we're all remembering. And so we're doing the purpose, we're doing exactly what we were meant to be doing, to wake up to the true nature of our being, which is I am an infinite, boundless being that is light, that is love, that is the expression of joy and gratitude and compassion. And then to go around and just tap everyone on the shoulder and say, hey, you're beautiful. And you are exceptionally fantastic. I love you. I'm proud of you. I appreciate you. And we do this through a compliment. And we're here. We're just walking, as Ram Dass says, we're just walking each other home. So our purpose is all the same. And it just shows up uniquely how we choose it to be. And we can change that path. We can change, I've been the experience of working in hospitality and loving that and being my purpose of connecting with people and loving people. And then I became a wife and a mother, and I was that experience. And then I was a DJ in a nightclub, and I loved that. And now I'm a spiritual teacher and a psychotherapist, and I'm here. It's like our purpose can change and morph. And we can just continue to once we know that that's the nature of our being, then the world's our oyster, and it's so exciting.
That's a lot.
I know, right? That's what I do. I get passionate. Watch out.
Had some great chat going on.
Who's up?
I was just saying, Crow, we've had some really good chat going on, and it's all really good. And I think Jenny said that we make it sound so simple, but Jenny, hey, we're human. We're not there. No one's ever there. We're just doing the best that we can, and that's the honest truth. We're not. There's no gurus anymore, and how good is that? You are your own.
There's a couple around that I like. So,
well, Crow's got a couple
all these years, I'm actually listening to these guys, and they have information. These yogas who. There was one of my favorite Satguru, and they were saying, well, what about freedom? He said, what about you, Satguru? He says, well, we truly weren't free until the English left our country, and we're all speaking English. So, but what I wanted to say is, something you got to realize, there's nothing, and then there's life. And that's pretty much it. And in the nothing, in the void, it's your spirit, which is energy. And you come back lots of times. You know, I could take any one of you guys and do a past life regression every day for 5 days, and I'll give you 3 different lives each day. And I used to be a skeptic, but it works. And you'd be surprised how you've been around. It's just that what we forget is that our ancestors are who we are. You know, we forget about the trauma that's going through the generations after generations of generations, and it's just filtering and bubbling up to you. And if you don't know that, go look at your nose. I bet you got your grandmama or your granddad's nose sitting on your face. You know, it's just not about you as it's all me. It's about us, which is your history and your ancestors and everything about you, where you come from. You know, we're Australians, but we come from different places and different cultures. And it doesn't hurt you to go back and have a look at what all that is and find your true self, as Robyn says. For me, it's all about just going inside. You know, my technique is I just use bear medicine all the time. I take you inside, I connect you to your bear and get out of your way. And that's pretty much what I do. And you and yourself, who is the bear, and the lesson of bear is the courage of introspection. You have to have courage to listen to yourself. There's so much stuff coming in. And watch that bloody phone that's in your hand, you know, because that's always someone bringing in information that you're not ready for or you are ready for. The trick to it is it's not about you and it's your smartphone. It's about you listening to yourself. Watch, there was once I was down in Victoria, and I came out of a workshop in Grovedale or something. And this guy came out and he was really upset and confused. And he says, what am I going to do? They're doing this, it's happening on television, doing that. What should I do? I said, don't look at telly anymore, Bryce. If you're listening to all that stuff and it's driving you crazy, you need to leave it be. You know, so have a think of that. You know, isolation is really good and quiet is the best thing that could happen to you. And most of us have been living on our own for some time now. And a lot of times you don't like yourself, so you're not happy with the guy you're living with, so that drives you crazy. Whereas that you better get used to you because that's what you get. And the next time through, you get you again. This time, you know, instead of being an Aries, you come back as a Pisces. And you got to deal with that energy too. So just realize that it's all about you. And if you don't know where you are, stay still and look around. And you're always in you. You will always be with you. So never tell yourself, I don't know who I am. Yeah, you're in there. You just shut up and listen to yourself. And you'll get the answers you need. Just make sure you got a pad and a pen so you can write down stuff. I'm out of that. Okay, go on, Shane.
Okay, Crow, thank you. You know what? This is the great mystery. This is it. The truth is written on the tablet of your heart. So you just have to go in there and find it.
That's a nice way of putting it. I'll use that. Thanks.
One of my mentors taught me that about 25 years
Well, I don't
ago.
mind taking other stuff. Yeah.
That's all right. You just call him a guru, Crow.
Well,
But, you know, that
stick around.
what you said, Crow, is right. You know, it's like, I don't know who I am. Well, that's because you've never looked inside and you've never been honest with yourself and you've never peeled back the layers and been willing to, you know, all of that external stuff, because we're all told we need an external savior and we're all told that the truth lies outside of us and it can be found in somebody or something else, when really it's right here. Always was, always will be.
Yeah.
Is that eternal seed that we carry from incarnation to incarnation. It's the eternal self, the soul. That's who we are. That's what we are, and that's where we're going.
Well, you don't get milk and honey, but being a wonderful person, you know, good people don't always come in first. But if you're good to yourself, I can guarantee you, your life will be a lot easier. And that's all we really want. We just want to be good with ourselves, come up with the right solution to what we're looking for. I was always taught that your purpose in life is to find self-love. And I'm listening to my colleagues here. They have different ways of looking at it, but that's sort of where I work from. And over the last, well, few decades that I've worked with people, the problem I always find is people are not happy with themselves. And love means to be happy with. And no matter what's happening, you're learning lessons. This is all about you and your journey, and the lessons are coming because there's things for you to learn. And your spirit will bring in other people to teach you something. Some of them are not really good lessons, but there's a Usui principle, honor your parents, teachers, and elders. Well, an abuser can be a teacher to a great extent if you learn the lesson and then go back and repeat it again. So honor those lessons that are coming to you and cherish them. If you've been beat up and you feel very bad about yourself, go learn some Kung Fu or something so it won't happen again. Don't be afraid to reach out. You know, we're all warriors underneath all this. No matter how peaceful you want to be or how timid you want to be, you have the right to stand your own ground and claim your own space. Love that.
Well, ultimately, I love this. Just on the last call we have here, that Kerry said that her dad's life purpose was to live an ordinary life and to be incredibly happy, and he's 84. That is beautiful. Thank you, Jean. Absolutely. You found your true purpose, and that is to be the best that you can possibly be, to serve and help others. This truly is at the end of this wonderful journey. At the end, we move into a place of service. That is remembering who you are and then broadcasting that to others, and being in service. And it's not just service to others per se, not to humanity, but service to your connection with divine, to spirit, whatever it is that you call it, the universe. So it is in service to humanity through, and to be the vehicle, that avatar for that love and that truth and reality to move through you. So that's what that ultimately our service is at the end, well, not the end of the journey, because we're not at the end now. We're here, and we've got this great opportunity to be that for all of humanity now in this world.
Well, just start with yourself, though.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are looking for love in all the wrong places, and they look for people to love them, and they try to give love from an empty bucket because they're empty inside. And you find out that the person you found has got more problems than you have because they're doing the same thing. Because we don't allow ourselves to love ourselves, we go out looking for relationships and hope someone's going to love you. Well, stop it. The buck stops with you. It's all about you and what you do with your life. And your energy will be positive if you feel good about yourself, and it'll be negative if you don't. And so if you got any negative things going, change it. Find a way, find a new word, anything you can to convert the negativity into positive, and start with a really good plan. Plans are good.
So on the plan, while we're talking about plans, is anyone? I will send you an email, and thank you all of those of you who are here. I'm going to send you an email. I'm pretty sure that you are on the list, and also, do you have something that you would specifically like for us to talk about next month? So yeah, anything at all. Like, you write it here. If you're not in a hurry to leave, if you want to write it here and continue to communicate for another 15 minutes or so, give us some ideas. What would you like to talk about next month? That would be really great.
Well, it would be nice to see that you guys contribute, but if you've got questions and things bothering you, just write them and send them to Robyn, and that gives us something to work with, because this is an open forum, really. And we're just available to see what we could do to help you find some closure in your life or some openings in your life. And we all have our way of working from different aspects. So you're getting 3 different points of view. It says the same damn thing. You know,
And I also too, someone's going to win a free session with one of us, your choice of one of us. I actually didn't get to do that today, so I'm going to put all your names into a hat and I'm going to pick out the winner, and whoever is the winner of tonight's
something like
not a
that.
competition, what is it? Then I will contact you and you can choose who you'd like to have a 45-minute session with for free. Congratulations already. And then, guys, please know that we're going to be offering some really great opportunities and some and gifts throughout this throughout the months following, where we will have opportunities to do sessions and workshops. And so please tell your friends. If you haven't joined the email list, please get onto me. If you just came up tonight without registering in, can you please contact me so I can put you into the email list so you can receive newsletters and so we can stay in touch.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
We just want to be here for you. You know, that's us putting something back and not being afraid to offer up. This is gifting, you know, and a lot of times I do that with sessions with clients. You know, it isn't about money with me. It's about helping you to do something, and I get rewards for it, because it's like building credit in the universe. If you're putting out good stuff all the time, when you're doing your prayers and asking for stuff, you don't always have to make a deal. My deal is that I'm going to do the best I can to help people feel good about themselves. So when I ask for something, damn, it happens pretty quickly. It gets a bit scary, but I've got credit, you know, because I'm out here doing this. And you can build credit yourself too by just liking yourself and being positive, you know. Cut the crap. Let's get into it, you know. I'm not good on lots of words, but I'm pretty blunt, and I kind of like being that way. You know, if you know, you pull your thumb out and let's do something. You know, sit down and write it on paper. I want to do this, and do it steps. I'm going to do this first, do that, and every day tick it off. And in 90 days, there will be something going on because you're heading towards it, and you block the energy so it'll show up when you get there.
Bro,
so we have.
Sorry, I was just saying. Crow, you might be blunt. You might be blunt, Crow, but we all know that you're just a big teddy bear.
And he doesn't talk a lot.
No.
It just so we're going to let Layla be the winner for her choice because she was the first one in. Tools to expand the heart and listening to the heart. So that's what we're going to be doing next month, guys. So just for Crow and Shane, we're going to be doing the Truth Awakening, expanding your heart and listening to your heart, whatever that will be. So that will be one that will be definitely worth getting in for, guys. We have just one hand up. Now, if any of you would like to leave, some people have had to leave, and because it is getting late. Those of you, okay, I finally worked out how to comment. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so I think we will. Jean, thank you. I stumbled across this forum this evening. Oh, fantastic. That is so good, Jean. Thank you. Alrighty. So for those of you who would like to leave, please jump out, and I'm going to stay on. I don't know if if he's tired and ready to bow out, what Shane has to do. So we'll kind of finish up as a whole because it is 8:45. And yeah.
Well, I just want to throw this out. I think if it's that tools for the heart, you and I talked about doing the heart journey. So we might turn this into a journey if you guys are into that, and we'll take you right into your heart, and you can listen to your heart song. It happens. Yeah.
That will be your part. You can do the heart journey.
Well, it depends on if that's what everyone's looking for.
Well,
it's not about me, it's about everyone. But that's one way. The best heart tool is to listen to your heart. How do you do that? Go in and listen to it. It's in there. You'd be surprised. You know, everyone has a song in their heart. And if you take the time where someone shows you how to get in there, you get your heart song. You can whistle that all day long. Anyhow, good to see you guys again. Next November's good. Come December, I'll be seeing you from LA. I've been given this task to go out and work with the crazy people in Los Angeles and see if I can help them find themselves. But as we are, I'm always here online. You can always contact me. And all my clients that I'm working with online, well, it doesn't change. I'm just here, you know, we're having a cup of tea and spending 2 hours working together. So, and that's the same thing with our Awakening program here. It's a platform. We're going to be here.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter if we are in the world, we're all connected now. And that's sort of nice about the way things are, is that we're all connected. And all we have to do is be available and tune in.
And I'm here also. I do Zoom sessions live. I'm starting meditation back up live next week. I will be on a plane to Bali, hopefully, by April 2022 on a wonderful self-love retreat. So, yeah. And Shane?
Probably my wings are clipped because I'm not putting the serum in my body, so I won't be on any planes. So I'll be earthbound here in Australia forever. Who wants to be earthbound?
Okay, you got all that smoke going. I'll be in April. I'll be in Christchurch doing festivals and working over there. So we travel around a lot of bit because there's people in other parts of the planet that need to hear things, and we can do. I'm getting ahead there. Whose head is that?
That's Chiwa.
That's all right.
Chiwa's new to Zoom, so I'm not sure if Chiwa knows that Chiwa's hand is up, and that's okay. Because we're all
Did you want to say, Chiwa, did you have a question that you want to talk about, like verbally? I can unmute you.
Chiwa's just said in the chat that they've just realised they're an hour behind in Queensland.
Oh, right, of course. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. Daylight savings.
Of course, we forgot about that.
Yeah,
Oh, that might be why some people came in later.
That went in off the blanket to make the blanket longer and put it on the top. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. It's still the same bloody time, isn't it? A bit of the madness of control. Okay, that's my opinion. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next month. And you can always find me on the internet or in my Shaman, Medicine Pro Shaman workshop where I'm posting stuff. And normally I just post stuff that I'm interested in. I don't have a lot to say. Usually there's lots of people that put stuff out, and I think it's worthwhile. I'll stick it out. But if you contact me, I'll always get back to you. Okay? So in my language, dono a kahoge, until we meet again, I will plant you now and see you later.
See, Crow, thank you.
Okay, I'm leaving now. There's a button down here, right? Okay.
See you, Crow.
See ya. Love you, brother. See you soon.
Yep. Okay. We'll take lunch.
We'll take lunch. See ya.
See ya.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Shane, are you staying in or you jumping out?
I can hang about for a little bit because it's daylight savings time and my body clock hasn't adjusted.
I know, right? Exactly.
So I think it's still 6:30 or something.
And Tony's, it was, okay. So we're going to have to address the hours. Hopefully people will realise that themselves.
Yeah, we'll just have to put Eastern Standard daylight savings time. That'll solve that one.
Yeah. I've got your email. Thank you, Jean. I will definitely put you on the email. It's lovely to see you, brother. Thank you. I love so fantastic that you just jumped in and found us.
Good to see you.
Fantastic.
Good to meet you.
Any questions, guys?
It's all intimate now. There's only 12 of us.
Yeah. Katie and Warren. Oops, hang on. I'll just also get. I'm going to end the recording.